Oh look, a base! What on earth just happened? What you just saw was a blanket of arrows. Introducing the Quilt Mk, an Arrow Airburst Cannon built to eliminate enemies and mobs with ease. The Quilt is my take on the Arrow Airburst concept. The basic idea is pretty simple. Take a large amount of arrows, put them in the air, and make them arrive in one very unfortunate location. But before we go any further, I should give credit where it's due. I first became interested in this concept after seeing Cubicmetre's Arrow Airburst Cannon. I wanted to take the concept and develop my own design. I don't claim to have invented the concept, I just simply saw something interesting and decided to build my own interpretation of it. Before we dive into the Quilt Mk, let's go back to the previous marks. This is the Mark 1. As you can see, the concept is pretty much the same. But there are some flaws in the Mark 1. One of the major problems with the Mark 1 is with the wind charge catcher. Every second fire of the dispenser wastes a single wind charge every time, so it's not consistent. You can clearly see this problem occur from the wind charges hitting this white stained glass. Although Mark 1 can kill a player with iron armor, but it's unenchanted. And the overall design was so unreliable that you have to stand in one specific spot in order to even get hit by it. And that didn't even deal that much damage. This is really not ideal if we're looking for something really precise. You see, in Minecraft, if you shoot a projectile at this slime block, once I activate this piston, the arrow gets launched upwards. And if I follow that up by activating this piston, which will send these wind charges up to this trapdoor, if I do tick unfreeze, the stacked up wind charges from hitting the trapdoor can launch the arrow at incredibly high speeds. From that alone, we can calculate on how much wind charges we need to one-shot a full netherite player. There are so many flaws with the Mark 1 that even the design itself is so out of date. I even use comparators as the time delay. Every second wind charge being wasted, and it doesn't even hit the desired location I want it to. Overall, the Mark 1's design is really unreliable and really unpredictable. Moving on to Mark 2, where I changed out some redstone components with others. Instead of using the comparator timer delay, I ended up using the hopper clock timer made by Etho. I also added some storage containers, I also added some storage containers for the arrows and wind charges, unlike the Mark 1. The wind charge catcher is still the same, so the problem from Mark 1 is still a problem in Mark 2. One thing I forgot to mention is at the back there is two pistons acting like some sort of door. If I activate the Mark 2, once it fires, it covers a much more spread out, but still not consistent. You can clearly see that it curves to the right a bit, which is still not ideal if you want it to cover the whole battlefield. With a full suit of protection 4, it only deals 4 hearts of damage. It can pretty much kill people with netherite armor without protection enchantments. But like the Mark 1, there are some flaws with the Mark 2 as well. One of them being, if you want to fire a shot, you have to immediately click on the button if you see an enemy from the distance. They're probably in your base at that time once this fires. So I need a design where if I press the button, it will already shoot out a shot and ready up another shot inside. So the major flaws of the Mark II is the wind charge aligner and the preparation time. Mark III fixes both of the major problems that the Mark II has. The quilt has 3 stages. One is the wind charge preparation. Second is the arrow preparation. And finally, the firing mechanism. All that in a span of 53 seconds. If I activate this note block, it will shoot your shot. While that happened, the machine is already preparing another shot for later use. And if you've noticed, the wind charge aligner is very different from the ones I used in Mark 1 and Mark 2, being able to consistently catch every single wind charge without wasting a single one. And unlike the Mark 1 and the Mark 2, the wind charges from the Mark 3 from this side is pretty much aligned. But on this side, it's more distributed out, causing the fire to be very much more spread out. One of the major differences of the Mark III to the previous two iterations is that the wind charge machine or aligner is the one who gets activated first, and after some time, now it will dispense the arrows, causing more wind charges to be ready, meaning a much more powerful shot. If I stand over here with my full protection 4 netherite armor set, if I unfreeze the game, it can one-shot a full netherite player with protection 4. And you might be asking, what about projectile protection? What about with a shield? Totem? But there are some things that can bypass the Mark III. An Unbreaking 3 shield, 2 totems, and I'm pretty sure there's more. For example, just building a wall to cover. I'm not sure if this will be the last version of the quilt I'm making. There are still some flaws in the Mark III that I haven't pointed out yet. I was also considering putting a magazine, but I still don't know what to do in order for that to work. And that is all for the Quilt Mark III showcase.